Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MDGO Traders. My name is Taryn, and this is Abzan Knights for Guilds of Ravnica Standard. So a few weeks ago, I went and built a green-white Knights deck, and in the comments below that video, you guys were kind of asking for an Abzan Knights build, so this is that video. This is the build that I kind of came to with Abzan Knights. Surprisingly, a lot more like efficient than I would have ever thought it could be, and that's thankfully due to our mana bases in Standard, and of course Unclaimed Territory being in Standard as well. So one of the best cards for this deck list for me, especially if you're going to be a heavy creature-based deck, which is what I kind of pitched this deck into. But this is Abzan Knights, a very kind of aggro to mid-rangey kind of aggressive deck to kind of overwhelm your opponent with lots of good value creatures turn over turn, and then just kind of go for the good old GG. So let's get into it. Let's start with our creatures. Of course, we have a lot of creatures in total, lots of 4-ofs in this deck list because Knights have to be good, and they're good in pairs, definitely. But Dauntless Bodyguard is here, a 1-mana 2/1. When enters the battlefield, choose another creature you control, sacrifice Dauntless Bodyguard. The chosen creature gains indestructible until end of turn. This is very good against a lot of the Izzet spells decks right now. Very good against the Golgari decks, against Assassin's Trophy especially. Not good against Lava Coil, sadly, but everything else it's pretty good against. But also very good at being a turn 1 play as well. If you're up against another kind of aggressive opponent, very good for that kind of matchup there. Next up for us, we've got Knight of Grace, and I'll just kind of pitch in Knight of Malice as well. But we've got two of these right here, kind of the same card, but other coin. 2-mana 2/2. First strike, hexproof from black. Of course, Knight of Malice has hexproof from white. And each of these get +1/+0 as long as you control a white permanent or a black permanent. So Knight of Malice and Knight of Grace are very, very good together. Playing a Knight of Grace on turn 2, then Knight of Malice on turn 3 usually means you're going to be pretty well off on the board state on turn 4, unless your opponent, of course, has removal for these. And because of the Izzet spells decks going around right now, that might kind of come to pass. But Knight of Malice and Knight of Grace are very powerful on turn 2, and of course they have first strike, so they can trade with the Goblin Chain Whirler. They can trade with mostly everything on the battlefield, even Lifelinkers, of course, like the operative right now. I think it's the Blood Operative. Those kind of cards are kind of coming up in like popularity in Standard right now. They can definitely trade with them. They cannot trade with the Drakes though. That is the downside to these cards, but we have other stuff in the deck list to kind of help that. Next up for us, we've got Knight of Autumn here. This is great against the History of Finale decks, the other Knight decks, as well as any kind of Eldritch Reborn style deck. There's a lot of those kind of decks kind of going around right now in the Garix's Control or Esper Control. 3-mana 2/1. When enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this, so it can be a 4/3, which is very good, or destroy target artifact or enchantment, which is what we'll kind of use this for every single time. And against the aggro list, we can gain 4 life, which is kind of great tempo for getting a 2/1 and getting 4 life. I'll take that all day long against the mono red aggro list for sure. Next up for us, we've got Midnight Reaper. Again, an amazing card against the Izzet spells list and the mono red aggro lists, as well as the kind of Esper Control list where they have lots of board wipes like Cleansing Nova, that kind of stuff. A 3-mana 3/2. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you, and you draw a card. So this is very good in the mid to late game because it gives you a lot of leeway and being able to kind of refill your hand with more gas, more advantage, and kind of continue to play out all the creatures from your deck list. So very good card on turn 3, and usually means they're going to try and spend a counterspell if they're a counter deck against this card. If they're not, they're going to try and remove it as quickly as humanly possible because this is a definite stain on the board state, because they do need to get rid of it, because if they don't, then if they start to trade with creatures on the battlefield, then we're going to get a lot of value turn over turn from Midnight Reaper. So just a great card overall for us. Next up for us in the 4-drop slot, Conclave Cavalier is probably one of the most mana intensive cards in the entire deck list, but a fantastic 4-drop for us. 2 green, 2 white, 4/4 with Vigilance. Whenever it dies, create 2 2/2 green and white elf and knight creature tokens with Vigilance. So very good card for us. It's a 4/4. So the only downside, of course, is against the Izzet spells list, Lava Coil does exist right now, so it can exile this card, meaning we don't get the 2 2/2s, which is a card we kind of probably want to board out in game 2 against those kind of spells lists. But Cavalier is still very, very powerful at being able to kind of just overwhelm your opponent. It's a 4/4 with Vigilance, and if they trade, it makes 2 2/2s, and usually at that point in the match, their life total is pretty low, and if we have an overwhelming board state with lots of creatures, we can normally close out the match with those 2/2s with Vigilance as well. So very good card, and again, surprisingly efficient in this deck list. Even though we are 3 colors, we can still get out Cavalier pretty effectively on turn 4 basically every single time. I've really only had maybe one problem with it as far as like mana issues, as far as not getting the correct mana. But again, Unclaimed Territory being in the deck list really does help out as far as curving on these top end creatures for us. Next up for us, as far as the last 4 creatures in the deck list, is Valiant Knight, a 4 mana 3/4 game ender. Other knights you control get +1/+1. That alone is very good, but paying 5 mana gives all your knights double strike, which again, if we do get the attack out here for this, then it's going to be game. Opponent wants to use Vraska's Contempt, they want to use Lava Coil, they want to use Beacon Bolt, something to remove the Valiant Knight as quickly as possible. Conclave Tribunal, that kind of stuff. If they don't, that usually means that if we have 5 mana up on turn 5, if this is a turn 4 play, then we're probably going to close out the match or do a significant amount of damage to their board state or their life total. So Valiant Knight is probably one of the cards that's going to like close out the match for you. And it's just a very good card overall. But that's all the creatures in the deck list. Let's move on to our spells here. We've got, of course, Assassin's Trophy. This is an Abzan Knights list, and we have green and black in the deck, so why not use the best removal spell in the format, Assassin's Trophy. An instant, destroy target permanent and opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it into their battlefield, and then shuffle their library. So again, Assassin's Trophy, very, very powerful for us. Best card in our deck list because it's really good in the like mid-range to control deck list for sure, against Teferi decks, against Route Is It Viceroy, those kind of deck lists. Also very good against the Drake deck lists as well, because those Drakes are 4 toughness, so it's kind of hard to get around for us sometimes. So Assassin's Trophy can definitely deal with those for just 2 mana, so very nice there. Next up, for other cards in the deck list besides lands, we've got History of Benalia, a 3 mana enchantment saga. Chapter 1 and 2 here, we create a 2/2 with Vigilance, very powerful. And Chapter 3, knights you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. Most of the time, if we hit the Chapter 3 here, we're probably going to win the match or significantly reduce their board state while ours kind of continually grows. So History of Benalia followed up by a following. History of Benalia is pretty much back-breaking against an opponent. Very powerful card. Really love it in most situations in Standard right now. But that's it for all the cards in the deck list. Let's go over our lands really quickly. We've got 2 lands, and then of course the 4 of Isolated Chapel, 4 Overgrown Tomb, 4 Unclaimed Territory, which is the card that's very important in this deck list for us, 4 Sun Petal Grove, 4 Temple Garden, and 2 Woodland Cemetery. So you'll notice there's a lot of white going on and green in a lot of these cards here. And of course, the Overgrown Tomb and Woodland Cemetery, there's about 6 different black sources for us in the deck list, which is not bad at all, and actually quite fine for us for the most part. Of course, Assassin's Trophy is probably the card that needs the most restrictive mana the earliest, but it's a removal spell, so you're probably going to want to wait to use that in the mid to late game instead of the early game. Let's move on to our sideboard here, and we just saw it a second ago, but it's Duress, a complete 3-of here, not complete 4-of, just 3 here for us. Very good against control, very good against slowing down our opponent if they're kind of going for a mid-range strategy. Not that great against the like Phoenix decks right now. Specifically because, you know, even throwing stuff away into the graveyard, that's fine, can definitely work on like Lightning Strikes, Ops, those kind of things, Charter Course, that kind of stuff, but not very good against, you know, Radical Idea or Beacon Bolt, those kind of things. They still have the ability to kind of cast them for those, you know, Phoenix Returns, that kind of stuff. So this is a card I would definitely bring in for the control matchups and probably not for the Drake matchups. Cards I would bring in for the Drake matchup, though, would most likely be Sentinel Totem. This still kind of benefits Crackling Drake, though. That's one of the issues with the Drake deck right now, or the Phoenix deck right now, is that they have a lot of things where they can actually kind of still win the game, even with like exiling their graveyard from the Phoenixes, kind of coming back to the graveyard. So still a very good card, though, for us, kind of slowing them down. A 1-mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1, and of course you can tap it, sacrifice it, and exile all cards from all graveyards. Next up for us, we've got Dawn of Hope. This is great against the mid-range matchups and the control matchups, especially if they're running a lot of board wipes. A great way to kind of continually fill up our board state. It's a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card, and you can pay 4 and create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. Doing 2 different things here for us. The gain life draw card is only going to really happen until we start making our 1/1s with Dawn of Hope, but very, very good against the slow grinding matchups, the mid-ranging matchups, and of course the control matchups. Next up for us, we've got Moment of Craving here for the mono red aggro matchups and the mono white or Boros aggro matchups. Just being able to kind of decimate a 2 toughness creature and also gain 2 life by doing it at instant speed. Moment of Craving in here is fantastic for that situation. Some more lockdown for us we've got is Conclave Tribunal. Tribunal, a 4-mana enchantment with Convoke, and when it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Conclave Tribunal leaves the battlefield. So this is the card you most likely want to bring in against the Is It Drake's decks, the Phoenix decks, those kind of things, because if it doesn't get countered, they most likely will be unable to get back whatever that creature is you exiled with Conclave Tribunal. Same thing with our other cards here for us, which is Settle the Wreckage, a 4-mana instant, exile all attacking creatures target player controls. That player may search his or her library for that many basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle his or her library. So again, a very powerful card against those kind of Phoenix decks. Very good at being able to go against an aggro deck as well. And the last two cards in the sideboard for us is against basically everything. We've got Vraska's Contempt here, a 4-mana instant, exile target creature or planeswalker, you gain 2 life. Again, this is kind of here for the more mid-range and control decks, but very good against the Phoenix decks and Drake decks, that kind of stuff right now in the format. But just kind of a great all-around card that you might want to bring in over Assassin's Trophy if you're having problems kind of dealing with those cards returning to the battlefield over and over again. But that is the full deck list for Abzan Knights. As far as the price on this deck list, it's coming to about, I want to say, 106 tickets on MTGO Traders if you want to build this online. And in paper, it's coming to about 368 bucks. And of course, the reasons for that is, of course, History of Benalia, Assassin's Trophy, Vraska's Contempt, and Temple Garden is quite a few bits, as well as Overgrown Tomb. Knight of Autumn is kind of in the $20 range as far as like if you want the full playset. But still quite good, quite powerful, and I'm sorry for that price in paper. But this is more about Magic Online for us, so let's get into some matches and see how this deck performs. Alright guys, let's get into match 1 here with Abzan Knights. Really excited to show this deck off. It actually performed a lot better than I would have expected because of the mana base just being kind of a little aggressive. Go with a mulligan here on play. Top deck that planes, go for Unclaimed Territory, go for a Dauntless Bodyguard on turn 1. Again, Dauntless Bodyguard is very good, being able to kind of protect your creatures from removal, but at the same time, it's also just a 2-1 on turn 1, which is very good as well. So you kind of want to, you know, see what your opponent's up to on game 1. Wall of Mist here. Is this an Arcades deck? Guess we'll see. 3 lands here going for our 4th land, Sun Petal Grove. Let's go for History of Benalia. Could have gone with a Valiant Knight. We see blue mana up, so we might think of a counter there. 6 cards in hand. 4th land, Wall of Vines. I think this is an Arcades deck. Sunlight Grove coming in. Valiant Knight hitting the battlefield. We're just crashing in for all the value now. Wall of Vines is now down to 11 for the opponent. 5 cards on the battlefield. There's an Arcades. There we go. Nice. Is this an Arcades deck? Probably a little too late for them. They're going to scoop it up, though. All right, so for game 2, we're going to take out the Conclave Tribunal, bring in some bring in Conclave Tribunal over Conclave Cavalier. They're both Conclaves. It throws me off every single time. I'm going to go with a mulligan and have a pretty decent hand for a turn 1, 2, and 3 Benalia. I'm going to bottom that Overgrown Tomb there and go for a tapped Temple. Okay, a 0-4. Going to play our 2-2 here. I'm going to play another 0-4. All right, I'm going to go for a History of Benalia here. The only thing we can kind of get around here now is a Chapter 3 History of Benalia. Ooh, 3 0-4s. Ouch. Let's go for another History and then go for a Dauntless Bodyguard, naming the Knight of Malice here. 3rd land draw for the opponent, 5 cards in hand. We've got turn over turn History of Benalia here, so let's get in for lots of damage. Again, we're kind of getting in without any opposition. We obviously have to go against 2 0-4 walls. Ooh, Aegis. Okay, they got a 1-11, and they also dive down another, so 0-7, so they can block some damage, but they're still taking 12, going down to 8. Ouch. Holding up the Knight of Autumn there, but actually that's going to do it. Nice. I really like the Arcades idea in Standard, but I just don't think it's there yet, so for those of you guys brewing that deck list right now, I really appreciate it, and I salute you. We've got a decent opening hand here. Going to go Sun Petal Grove, pass. Getting over Swamp and a Fountain of Renewal here. Let's go for a Unclaimed Territory, get out Knight of Grace. Hopefully followed by a Midnight Reaper the following turn. Or just kind of waiting for another white mana for that History of Benalia. Let's go with a Overgrown Tomb, untapped, Midnight Reaper coming in. Kind of waiting to see if they have anything. They shouldn't for kill there. Fiddle Push isn't in the Standard, so seeing that 1 black mana up makes me think that it might be. The Midnight Reaper prior to combat. Just seeing if they have any kind of control magic for the Midnight Reaper or any removal spells prior to combat. Again, Midnight Reapers on top of each other like this is really good for us because it gives us a ton of value if they go with, you know, Dead Weights or Moment of Craving, that kind of stuff. Ooh, Ritual of Soot! So many card draws. All right. Almost too much value, honestly. Let's go with a Knight of Autumn here. And destroy that Fountain of Renewal seems to be the play for us. And the cards we want to discard is probably a Conclave Cavalier and maybe the Overgrown Tomb. We already have an Overgrown Tomb on the battlefield, and there's nothing in the deck list that has double black mana requirements, so we should be fine with getting rid of those two as far as the discard option here. Getting rid of Fountain of Renewal there. There we go. And Overgrown Tomb and Cavalier are out of our hand. Let's see here. 5 cards. We're going to go with a pass here. We're going to go with a Cavalier. Yeah, let's go with Hirsch Benalia instead, actually. They have Sinister Sabotage. No problem. This does give us the option, though, to play Knight of Grace after combat. Tapping out, but then they stopped. So we're going to go with Knight of Grace here after combat. Let's see. Yep, Moment of Craving hitting the Knight of Autumn there. Eldest Reborn on Knight of Grace there. Well, Knight of Autumn can deal with Eldest Reborn here, so that's not bad. One of the best things about Knight of Autumn is it's so versatile against most of the matchups you're going to face in Standard right now. And Eldest Reborn is a card that is continually making its way into a lot of control decks. This looks like a Sultai control deck, so just kind of waiting on the opponent's approval there. There we go. Then let's go for History Benalia and pass turn here. We'll have 4 power coming their way next turn. Going for a Undergrowth Lich here. Hit a Valiant Knight. Perfect card for us here. Let's get that out and just swing in for 6 points of damage. Let's see if they want to pay for that Indestructible Clause. Let's see. No, they don't. Nice. So we get them down to 11 here. We do lose a creature, but it's fine because the Lich was very powerful. And then they're going to go with a Scoop. Very nice. Let's get into match 3 here. Opening hand has 4 lands with a Bodyguard Trophy and Autumn, and that's a keep for me. Let's go with a Bodyguard here and pass turn. Mountain for the opponent, pass back. Could be a mono red aggro list, could be an Izzet list. Let's see what happens. Getting in for 2 here. Ooh, this is an Izzet list. All right, let's see how we can fare against it. Let's get in for 2 here, get them down to 16, and go for a Midnight Reaper post-combat. Being a radical idea. This is definitely a Phoenix list. Lava Coil on the Reaper. That's a smart move there. We've got Knight of Grace and Malice in our hand, so we go with a Temple Garden there untapped and get both on the battlefield. Now, the one downside to doing what we just did is if they have a Fiery Candidate in their main board, then we might just be dead. They're going to go with a Charted Course, though, so that's good for us. They do discard and are like Phoenix there. 2 lands. Going with another Tormenting Voice. Let's get in for lots of damage. Getting in for 8 here. Drop them down to 6. Let's go for Knight of Autumn here. This does survive a Fiery Candidate, so should be all right with a win here now. There we go. Nice. All right, let's go with the sideboard game plan. So we want to take out the Conclave Cavalier, bring in some Tribunals and Stellar Wreckage, and one of Dawn of Hope for some lifelink gain. Again, remember, Sentinel Totem is not that useful in the Phoenix matchup because of the Crackling Drake. It's useful, like, about 1/3 of the deck, or 2/3 of the deck is useful against it. But Crackling Drake is a card that kind of just demolishes that card. So it's always up to you guys if you want to do that kind of play there. I like to be a little bit more aggressive with how I play my game. Knight of Grace on turn 2 here. Oh, the Surfer falls into a Goblin Electromancer. Interesting. Let's go with a Isolated Chapel. Go for Midnight Reaper. And then get in for 3 here. Keep in mind, we want to keep the Midnight Reaper as alive as long as possible. So if they do attack out here, we don't want to block. It is 3 power. Yeah, they're going to attack out. We're going to not block there. The Goblin does give them lots of power as far as, you know, cheapening all of their spells. So that is something to keep in mind, but they don't have any Phoenixes in the graveyard, so they're just kind of digging right now, which is fine. Unclaimed Territory and Woodland Cemetery. Going to go with a Cemetery into a Valiant Knight. Kind of hope for not a Essence Scatter. Please don't have an Essence Scatter. They have Shock, though, for Midnight Reaper. We do draw a card off that. Another Tribunal coming into our hand. Let's get in for 3 here. Knight of Grace will be a 4/4 once we play the second Midnight Reaper from our hand. See a Tormenting Voice once again. 6 cards in hand for the opponent. Are they struggling on land drops? That could be it here. This is turn 5. They did miss a land drop. We're not going to like block that because of shock. See, we got Drake off the top there for the opponent. Let's go for a Unclaimed Territory and have 5 mana, and then kind of bluff the double strike clause on Valiant Knight here. We have 5 mana, so we can do that. Let's see how they block. Gonna block with the Valiant Knight. We're gonna go with the double strike here because the Drake is a pain. So have them down to 8 here. And passing turn. We could have gone with the Conclave Tribunal that way, either way, but opponent's gonna scoop it up. Nice. Let's get into match 4 here. So it's very difficult to kind of predict what's going to happen in a Phoenix list because, again, they have so much card draw and so much advantage. It's very hard to kind of see where the deck is going to go from their top decks because of the, again, just the obnoxious amount of ways they have to draw cards. Ooh, Steam Vents here from the opponent. Sulfur Falls looks like another Is It list. Arclight Phoenix immediately discarded. Ooh, what can we do? Let's go History Benalia since they are tapped out. 8 cards in hand for the opponent here. Lots of value, of course. 3rd land drop here. Going for a Charted Course. Discarding an island here. Usually when I see Charted Courses, it's to discard another Phoenix, but sometimes no. Let's go with a Conclave Cavalier here and get in for 2. We're going to press our advantage here. Another History Benalia might have been quite good at that slot, but Cavalier is just very good. However, we are against the Is It deck, so they could have a Lava Coil against the Cavalier, so we want to keep that in mind for the follow-up play. Ooh, shock against that Knight there. All right. Another land drop for them. Ooh, Lava Coil hitting the Cavalier, so they did have it. And a shock on the Knight. Ouchies. Opponent had everything there. Opt and bringing in that Arclight Phoenix. Getting in for 3. All right, we're probably going to go with... let's go Unclaimed Territory and go History Benalia, and then just go for probably a Dauntless Bodyguard here. That seems good. And this is kind of the thing is, for the opponent, they still have 5 cards in hand. They use 3 spells in a single turn, and they still have 5 cards in hand. So they just cast one other spell, and they still have 4. So it's just, they have a lot of value in being able to kind of shuffle their entire hand and get back that Phoenix over and over again. So they're digging for, I would assume, either a Drake or another Phoenix. So we really need to get into a Assassin's Trophy quite soon for that Phoenix. Hitting us for 3 again, dropping us down to 14. See, Knight of Grace off the top for us. Let's go with a Knight of Autumn here. They have 2 untapped mana, so we're going to gain 4 life with the Knight of Grace. Reason being is because the deck is very good at being able to out-tempo us, so we're trying to gain a little bit of advantage by gaining that life back. Holding up Knight of Grace here instead of playing it out, thinking they might have a fire candidate. If they do, it's going to hurt a lot. In brewing for this deck list and testing, dying to fire candidate has been a time-honored tradition. So you want to be really aware of that card in these Is It Phoenix decks right now. Getting in for 3 here. There it is. Fire candidate. We're going to give one of the Knights indestructible here. We will lose every other Knight, though. We do get a +1 for this, or +2, +1 for the Knight. Getting in for 4 here. And they have 3 mana up, so we could try for the Cavalier. It does hit. Let's go for a Knight of Grace here. Not bad. So refilling our land here, our board state is nice for us. 4 cards in hand for the opponent here. They've got a Lava Coil, of course, for the Cavalier, and another Lava Coil. Oh no! Maximize velocity, and they're going for a 3/2 attack once again. 1 card in hand for the opponent. Let's go for a Midnight Reaper. This is a great card for us because it gives us lots of advantage. However, if they have another Lava Coil, then we're kind of in trouble. 2 cards in hand for the opponent. Oh, Beacon Bolt. We do draw a card from that, which is not bad. But Beacon Bolt once again hitting our other creature. 2 burn spells and 1 card is not fun. Let's go with an Assassin's Trophy on that Phoenix there. They have 0 cards in hand, so they don't have many ways to kind of get anything out. Let's see what they top deck here. They top deck a Phoenix. Oh no. We were destined to lose. Oh no. History Benalia coming in. We have to top deck a removal spell now in order to survive. Discovery from the opponent. They're going to start digging now. There's another Arclight Phoenix in the graveyard as well. Oh my gosh. Is there anything we can do here? Getting in for 3, dropping us down to 2. They're drawing Charter Course. Their Discovery. They're looking for a shock. Do they find a shock? There it is. Oh my gosh. Let's bring in Sentinel Totem for the Phoenix deck here. We didn't see many Drakes at all. We'll also bring in Sell the Wreckage. Want to take out probably Conclave Cavalier here, since it's basically useless against that Lava Coil. And just hit Submit. Tribunal and Vraska's Contempt are also good cards to bring in for this matchup, as well as Duress. So, bit of pitch the entire deck list into a more aggressive control list if you wanted to. It's really up to you. Yeah, opponent top decking that Phoenix, that hurt a lot. You always want your opponent, if they have 0 cards in hand, to top deck a land, and yeah, that never happens for me. 2 lands for us. We're gonna go with maybe a keep. We'll keep this. Gonna go with an Isolated Chapel Pass. This is a slow hand, but a very powerful hand. Gonna go with another Isolated Chapel Pass. Do we hit a 3rd land drop? 2 land available to them. Unclaimed Territory for us. Let's try for a Midnight Reaper first. It does hit. Very good. Pass turn for the opponent here. They have a Radical Idea. Okay. Could have gone for History of Adalia, but wanted to work around a Negate or a Syncopate. Goblin Electromancer coming in for the opponent. Assassin's Trophy for us. Let's try and get rid of the... well, let's go for History of Adalia. Let's try see if we can get that going. Nice. Let's get in for 3 here, see if we can actually trade with them. I don't mind doing that. Trade accepted. Going for another Settle the Wreckage in our hand. That's nice. 6 cards in hand for us. Going for a Crackling Drake. It's a 1/4 right now. Not that big of a headache at the moment, so let's go for a History of Adalia once again. This is kind of backbreaking. However, if they do have a Fiery Candidate next turn, we're going to feel real bad. A Valiant Knight could have been the play there, had the Sunpetal Grove not come in tapped. Opt from the opponent here. Do you find a Fiery Cannonade? Let's see, you do. Ouch. They get in for 3 here, dropping us down to 16. We get another Knight from the History of Adalia. Let's go for Assassin's Trophy on that Drake and go for a Knight of Malice. So we still will have a pretty big attack next turn. Phoenix from the opponent getting in for 3, dropping us down to 13. Chart a course here. Let's see, let's go for Valiant Knight to get a little bit more value here and get in for 11. Drop them down to 9. We've got quite a good board state. It can survive a Fiery Candidate. Valiant Knight can't survive a Lava Coil, so we might see a Lava Coil this turn. What's happening? So much. Crackling Drake from the opponent here. Ooh, Lava Coil does hit the Valiant Knight, so next turn a double strike attack would have been quite good, but we did see it. Assassin's Trophy from the opponent there. Let's go for a Dauntless Bodyguard and name the Knight, the token, and get in for 5 here. We're going to just trade with the Phoenix, that's fine. And pass turn. Finally have an advantage now. 7 cards in hand, they're going to go with an Opt here. But keep in mind the Phoenix deck can bounce right back really quickly thanks to all of the draw cards and cheap spells like Fire Cannonade, ouch, and Chart a Course. So 3 spells that does bring back 2 Phoenixes and 6 damage straight to our face, down to 7. Let's go for an Unclaimed Territory here. Actually, we're going to hold it in hand for a bluff and then pass. Let's load up a Settle the Wreckage here. Hope they don't have a counter. Oh, and they don't. Nice. Very good for us. I'm just going to follow up with a Crackling Drake play. 7 cards in hand for them. Keep in mind, they've done a ton of stuff throughout the game, and they still have 7 cards in hand. That's ridiculous. Valiant Knight for us. We have a Settle the Wreckage. We need to hold up the Settle because of the Drake having 9 power here. Let's go for a Settle here. Do they have the counter? Oh, they don't. Nice. You have a follow-up Drake or Phoenix? You don't have anything. Good, good. Let's go for a Valiant Knight here. And go for a Knight of Grace. And pass turn here. Will we be able to turn this match around? Radical Idea from the opponent here. Another Radical Idea being exiled. Radical Idea once again. And that Radical Idea is being exiled. They are digging for something. I assume another Drake. Ooh, Ooh, Beacon Bolt, no! Ah, that card's too good. Arclight Phoenix from the opponent there. Radical idea, Phoenix coming in. Oh, they didn't attack. That was a misplay on their part. Let's go for a Valiant Knight here. And pass. We're at 7, so they need to hit us twice. Or 3 times. Ugh, Lava Coil. Why? Oh, this Phoenix deck is obnoxious. So much value. We're down to 2. And that's it! Ugh. We got a loss there. No bueno. Let's get into match 5 and see what we can do. I tell you, that Phoenix deck is so obnoxious. It's really hard to get around, honestly. Very powerful in standard right now. Top tier, I would say. Overgrown Tomb Pass. Maybe a Boros list here? Let's go with a Knight of Malice here. Ooh, Jeskai. Okay, so Jeskai control. Let's go with a Temple and just get in for 2 here. Could have gone with the Isolated Chapel, but wanted to make sure we had a turn 4 Valiant Knight if he wanted it, or a Cavalier. Let's go for Cavalier. It's going to get countered because this is Jeskai control, so we're just going to make sure we get in as much value as we can under all the counters possible. So we can go for another Cavalier and see if it gets countered. It does. 5 cards in hand for the opponent. Down to 14. Unclaimed Territory. Very nice. Let's try for a Valiant Knight. Another Sabotage. No problem. All we have to do now is just make sure we play a lot of value over and over again to the point that they can't really deal with it. So Revitalize is a card that I really haven't seen that much in the Jeskai control list, but it is a card that is okay. Crackling Jig from the opponent at 4/4. This is definitely Jeskai control. Let's go for a Assassin's Trophy on that. If they had Syncopate, they couldn't get around it. Now, Negate would have been a card to deal with there. Main phase 2, we're going to pass turn here. 4 cards in hand for the opponent. If they have a Cleansing Nova here, then playing a Following Creature would have been pretty bad. The Fairy, they're going to go with a draw here. It's fine. Let's go with a Temple Garden here. Actually, let's go with an attack to Teferi and 2 to the opponent. It does hit, so that's good for us. We're going to pass turn. Blessing Teferi once again. I'm trying to work around a Cleansing Nova here, so as long as the opponent isn't dealing with our board state, then I'm happy to continue to attack out. The Fairy does die, they go down to 6. Let's pass turn here. There's another Teferi. Okay, so we're happy that that did happen. They go with a negative on Teferi and a Cleansing Nova. That feels very strange for just one creature to go Cleansing Nova, but alright. Whatever. I had a Grayson 2, a History 9. They're going to go Chemist's Insight here. And plus this Teferi draw card. And Chemist's Insight once again with an Opt. Do they have anything? They're looking for removal, I suppose. Valiant Knight off the top for us. Pretty perfect. Sinister Sabotage does slow that down. Let's just hit them directly, since Teferi can't bounce anything next turn. They need a Cleansing Nova or a Settle the Wreckage. Do they have it? Lift Up Retreat here. Another Teferi. Okay. Plus on Teferi. Nope, they don't have it. Nice. Alright, let's go with Duresses in the main board here. Let's take out maybe some Cavaliers. Trying to be a little bit faster than them. I think that's probably fine. We could bring in some Vraska's Contempts since they have lots of Planeswalkers, but we're just gonna hold off on the game 2 here and see if we get a 2-0. If we get into game 3, we might bring in some Vraska's Contempts. But yeah. So glad that we actually face basically the top 2 decks in the format right now. Jeskai control here, and of course the Izzet Phoenix deck right now. Very good lists overall. Very powerful. I was kind of seeing like almost 0 Golgari lists while playtesting. I'm not so sure what's happening with the Golgari mid-range lists. I think those lists are kind of going away a little bit, especially because of the Phoenix decks just going directly over them. So, Gleam Knight from the opponent here. Go with a Temple Garden, go with a Dauntless Bodyguard, turn 1. Again, we're trying to press our advantage as quickly as possible, so 2 mana up, let's get it for 2 here and try and go for a Knight of Malice. Does it hit? Oh no, it's a Syncopate. I thought it was an Essence Scatter. Sorry, Syncopate. Get in for 2 once again. Knight of Grace. Sabotage, no problem. Keep in mind, they're just going to try and play keep away as long as possible, and we're going to continue to play value every single turn. Let's get in for 2 here. It may have a Cleansing Nova next turn, and if that's the case, a follow-up History of Benalia is going to be really good for us. Ooh, Binding for the History of Benalia here. Assassin's Trophy on the Ixalan's Binding. That does give us another Knight here. We could have gone Knight of Autumn instead of Assassin's Trophy. That could have been the better play, but I'm holding the Knight of Autumn here for any kind of follow-up artifact or enchantment, but also, or there's a Clarion, okay. Also for that life gate if we need it, or being a 4/3. Knight of Autumn is incredibly deep for us. Expansion for the opponent here. They're going to grab our History of Benalia. That does suck a little bit, but let's see what they have. Ral and Cleansing Nova with a Teferi. So we're going to go with the Knight of Autumn here and make a 4/3. They have 2 Planeswalkers in their hand, and they have the mana to play them. So it depends on which Planeswalker they decide to play first. Okay, Ral here. Not bad. Rule spell, no problem. And then the Knight is going to take Ral. And then main phase 2, let's go for a Knight of Autumn here. Make a 4/3 once again. We're actually going to go with a pass here. Let's go Dauntless Bodyguard. This could tell me that they have a Settle the Wreckage, so we're just going to hit in for 4 here. Drop them down to 6. Very nice. Okay. Opponent might try, let's see here. Maybe Chemistry's Insight on Instap? No? Okay. Cleansing Nova is what they need here. Let's just see if they get it. Ooh, they do get it. We do have the Indestructible Clause for the Knight here, which is not bad. Drop them down to 2. That's the best part about Dauntless Bodyguard here. Gonna go with the Teferi and bounce. That's fair. Let's go Knight of Malice here. Keep in mind, Knight of Malice cannot be bounced by Teferi because it has Hexproof from white. Draw a card with Teferi. Show me the win! Oh no, they have Explosion! Oh, 7 cards in hand for the opponent. That's probably going to do it, isn't it? So much value now. Crackling Drake. Yeah. They have this match now. Well, I appreciate Knight of Autumn being a great card. Probably not going to get around that Crackling Drake until they get more removal here. Getting in for damage. Yeah, if they attacked here, they would have, most certainly have some type of removal here. Let's try an attack, though. Yeah, seal away. Okay, let's go with that concede and go to game 3. Let's bring in those contempts that we talked about earlier. I think that Dawn of Hope, maybe. I don't think so, honestly, but we'll see. Let's try Dawn of Hope. Contempts are okay. I mean, they're not terrible. They are slow, though. Dawn of Hopes are really good against Cleansing Nova, so we can try that instead. Let's go with a submit here and see what we can do. Honestly, I feel like Tribunal might have been the better card instead of anything else, but again, they have Ixalan's Bindings in their deck, so Tribunal getting binded is not amazing for us. Opening hand has 3 lands, no black mana, though. Let's go with the keep. Play a tap land pass. Benalia on turn 3 is really good. And Knight of Grace, of course, on turn 2 is also pretty good. Being on the play is a lot better for us. So, let's see if we can get a... so 2 mana here. Let's go for a Knight of Grace. That works around a Syncopate for sure. It's a Fortress from the opponent, so they do have a correct mana here. We need black mana so badly. Let's get in for 2. 4, down to 14. And past turn here. Seal Away does hit a Knight. Past turn for us. Sun Petal Grove. Okay, let's go for an attack for 2. Down to 12. We're going to try Knight of Grace here. They have 2 mana up, so it does work around a Syncopate, but if they have a Sabotage, which they do, it is countered. 7 cards in hand for the opponent. Their passing turn. Let's go for Unclaimed Territory. Hit Knight. Go Knight of Malice here. Get in for 2. Actually 3. Thanks to Knight of Malice. Down to 9. We could try for Benalia. Probably going to get syncopated though. Yep, there it is. And an opt. For a Sacred Foundry into a Deafening Clarion. Finale for us since they're tapped out. Last turn. Team Vince to a Crackling Drake. Valiant Knight off the top isn't bad, but Midnight Reaper is a little bit better for us in this situation. Since turn 3 next turn will be really good for us, unless they have a Cleansing Nova. Fairy here for the opponent. They're drawing a card. Let's go plus on Teferi. Or plus on History Benign, then Duress for the opponent here. Oh, nice. So we're getting rid of that Seal Away. Go with Valiant Knight here. They're in for a world of hurt. Let's go with an all-out attack on the opponent here, and that's going to be game. Nice. Good game here. Nice. Good game. Alright guys, you saw the matches, you saw how this deck went. It went quite well for us, but I appreciate you guys leaving a like if you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments down below what kind of deck I should cover in the future. And of course, tomorrow we should have a modern deck dropping as well. But I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome MTG content just like this. And make sure to tap the bell icon to be notified whenever a video is made live. If you want to keep watching content, here are 2 more videos for you. This video and many others are sponsored by MTGO Traders and Cape Fear Games. Buy and sell digital singles to build your online collection today with MTGO Traders, and get your paper singles, accessories, and much more from Cape Fear Games. Whatever your Magic needs, both places have you covered.